but I like keep trade cut because it's a good tendency for what the market value is, and that's all you can go off. You always Dynasty is just a game of playing the market, right?
Yeah.
It's players you think you're selling players you think are ranked too high. You're buying players who you think are ranked too low.
Yeah. But yeah, I would pay a lot for Jackson Dart. Not that I have the 102, but I'd pay the 102 for Jackson Dart.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to Two Northern Blokes with your hosts Jamie and James.
Yeah, hello.
Do you want to do our Dynasty buy? So our Dynasty content we're doing here, we've just each got a Dynasty buy in the current market. And yeah, just some players we're going to chat about and get your thoughts. Shall I go first?
You go first.
So, mine's someone I bought recently in one of our leagues, so you're probably going to guess it. A unicorn of a player. No. Travis Hunter is who I've gone with. Now, I honestly think, and I'll get your thoughts on this, but I've got a load of reasons why. I'm just like, Travis Hunter, it seems the most glaringly obvious Dynasty buy that I've seen in the keep trade cut pricing for a while. So, he's wide receiver 25 recently. I literally just bought him in one of our leagues for 2027 seconds and 25 fab, which is ridiculously cheap. Like, that's almost like throwaway type of prices, which, okay, whatever. But even as wide receiver 25, if you're going to have to keep trade cut, he's injured at the minute, so he had surgery on his ACL. Fine, I'm happy with that. But before the injury, in week 7 of the season last year against the Rams, he went for 8 catches for 101 yards and a TD. He was absolutely electric in that game. I don't know if you remember, there was one of his catches got voted as catch of the season. You'll have to see it, but he's basically being like double teamed by 2 cornerbacks, and he has this amazing feat of athleticism where his balance and stuff is just unreal. But also, like we talked about earlier, the Jags sort of turning around their offense since like week 10 of the regular season. Yeah. So Parker Washington, who was great in the playoffs, he plays as the slot wide receiver in that Jags team. But I think Travis Hunter is a slot wide receiver himself, so he's going to slot in to that position. And because Parker Washington, they don't have as much investment in him. You know, Travis Hunter was drafted 2nd overall. Do you remember they traded up off the Browns to get him? So they've invested so much in this talent, and I just think he's not going to be a cornerback, which is the overarching argument with Travis Hunter, because
it's a fear. So
there's only been the highest a cornerback's ever been drafted is 3rd overall in the draft. Do you know that? There's been 3 cornerbacks taken at 3rd overall.
Ever, technically.
If he was to, but what I mean is, the team is not going to invest that much draft capital in a player they're going to play at cornerback. They're going to play him at wide receiver. Everything is pointing to that being the case, and that seems to be the only concern with him, that he's going to be a cornerback. But I just don't see the team utilise him as that. I think it'll be a wide receiver first and foremost, and then he'll play what snaps he can at cornerback. But it just doesn't make sense for an NFL team to put that investment into a cornerback. The wide receivers are so much more valuable.
So let's think about this one together. So the starter at wide receiver, at least on the depth chart, is Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah,
they still place him as number 1 on the depth chart.
But Brian Thomas Jr. he lines up out wide as a wide receiver. He's not in the same, like him and Travis Hunter will play together. Also a bit of this is I am down on Brian Thomas Jr. as another part of this.
This all gets quite funny in a second. So then the second wide receiver is Jacoby Myers. Now has he got much of a contract?
I think they extended him in just before the playoffs.
You got Jacoby Myers and Brian Thomas Jr. to compete with. Then you got Parker Washington. And then just a load of other nonsense, and then you've got Travis Hunter. You've got basically four wide receivers that do play slightly different, but all very talented is a big thing, and they're all really competing with it. Now, I think Travis Hunter could do it. Yeah. Like, having one breakout game is enough to say this person has the ability to be great.
Yeah.
And you don't have that many games in the season, like I would say, so one breakout game is enough. But, you know, what? He's done his ACL this season?
I don't know if he tore it, but it was like, because he was going to be out for 4 weeks and then all of a sudden he had surgery. But it was quite early on the season. It was after week 7. But that is kind of my point. What you made there, though, is I think to invest in him at wide receiver 25 value, with all the other points, like the fact he was drafted second overall. What I like to look at when I'm playing Dynasty is the actual NFL draft and where teams invest in players in the NFL draft. So if you had a wide receiver who was drafted number 2 overall by a team, and you know, the talk of Travis Hunter is he's this elite talent. Like, he's like a Justin Jefferson level of like physical talent. If he puts the numbers in a few game weeks of like what even wide receiver 2 numbers, his dynasty value is going to shoot up because he's so young and this talented. Like, honestly, the limit is like he could break into like the top 5 wide receiver ranking in dynasty, I think.
I mean, anyone can do anything. That's the thing.
No, but it's easier for him because of the draft capital.
Yes.
Is the point I want to make. Whereas like Puka Nacua has had to do it so solidly for years and prove his talent that way because he was drafted. He was like a 5th round pick. But when you've got that much investment and the talent's there,
they want it to work, really.
Yeah,
and they've spent a fortune on it.
It's an upside buy, really. Yeah. Like, I'm shooting for the upside, which is also how I think you should play Dynasty. You want to shoot for those players who are going to rocket in value, and then you build your team around them.
Yeah, I was actually having a thought about. I was looking at one of my dynasty leagues, and I was looking at some players in it. There was like Bucky Irving, and there was Jalen Waddle, and I was just like, your entire season is based off if these good players can be great players. Jalen Waddle could have a ridiculous season next season. He could be so good. Yeah. He could be just ridiculous, realistically, but he might not be. Yeah. And same with Bucky Irving. If Bucky can stay fit, he just absolutely rockets. Yeah. And I was looking at my team and I was looking at Javonte Williams is in there. I was like, he was the player who just had the crazy season. Yeah. Solid running back. He had the crazy season. But this all kind of gets on to my dynasty buys. Now, I had a backup one. I had the actual one I picked, and then I had a backup one in case you picked one I picked. I'll tell you the one I picked, and then I'll tell you the backup because it's interesting. So my top density buy, I will go with Jackson Dart.
Okay, yeah.
QB9 on Keep Trade Cut. He is 22 years old. You can
was this your number 1 pick, or is this your backup?
This is my pick.
I like it.
Jackson Dart is QB9 on Keep Trade Cut. I think he's so talented. I think he's so good. I think Malik Nabers is coming back. He's got the Scatterbo as well. He's got this really good offense. They've got Jim Harbaugh in now.
It's John Harbaugh.
I
think we did this the other week, didn't we? I think Jim's the Chargers. I think John is...
John. They've got John Harbaugh.
I love that. Yeah, as a Giants fan, I love that point.
He's QB9 on Keep Trade Cut, but at 22 years old, I think he'd get to like QB3 realistically. Like, there was a point where Jaden Daniels was ranked QB3. Jaden Daniels was ranked QB1 at one point.
Yeah. I mean, he had an injury-riddled season, so I can't say that way.
It is worth noting, you can't just go purely off where they're ranked on Keep Trade Cut. Like, Keep Trade Cut is just the average person's.
Yeah.
It's not.
But I like Keep Trade Cut because it's a good tendency for what the market value is, and that's what you can go off. Dynasty is just a game of playing the market, right? Yeah. It's players you think you're selling players you think are ranked too high. You're buying players who you think are ranked too low.
Yeah. But yeah, I would pay a lot for Jackson Dart. Not that I have the 102, but I'd pay the 102 for Jackson Dart. Yeah. Or you could pay a late first, like the 112 plus a future first. Yeah. Something like that. That's what I would pay for Jackson Dart. I think he's a 2 to 3 first. I'd pay a lot, honestly. I think his upside is he has no ceiling, really. Yeah.
I think that's the key thing is there with Jackson Dart, because he's a QB who's this running QB. Yeah. That's what fantasy football is built on. These rushing QBs, your Josh Allens, your Lamars, even Jalen Hurts has
Patrick
been
Mahomes.
Yeah. Like, he has got that dual threat, and he's so young.
He's 22. That's
the thing is the youth is going to be. He's going to be playing in 6 years when those 4 I've listed are probably not. Yeah. And the interesting thing I think on that is, and we'll save this for future. I've got future thoughts on Dynasty, but this year was it's quite a down year for QBs. Yeah. They just didn't score that many points.
Lamar had a really bad year.
Yeah. So I think the landscape will have shifted a bit where it's come too down on the QBs. So it's not a bad time to invest in QBs now, I think.
Yeah.
So I like that pick.
Yeah. The backup one though, just is funny that I had this as my backup. I had Brian Thomas Jr.
Yes.
He is wide receiver
Yes.
19.
Oh.
And he's had a down season.
Yeah.
You can get him super cheap.
I can see why you
You
mentioned
can
that
get
now.
him so cheap.
I see
Brian
why you
Thomas
mentioned that,
Jr.
yeah. I was thinking, why would you mention your backup? But that makes sense.
He has pure talent.
Well,
He's so
I don't think so.
talented, and he realistically can be great.
We'll find out.
But yeah, I would totally not take Travis Hunter. I'd put your money into Brian Thomas Jr. I think he's gonna have the comeback season.
Oh, funny.
But yeah, that was my backup.
Funny. Right, should we wrap it up there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, cheers for watching, guys. We've been Two Northern Blokes. All our social medias will be linked in the bottom. We're also on Spotify now, so this will be going live on Spotify playlists. But yeah, let us know in the comments what kind of props you like for the Super Bowl, and if you've got any predictions, we'll definitely have a look at them and respond to all of them. So yeah, cheers for watching, and
Thanks
see
for
you soon.
watching, guys.